Hey folks, welcome back to the channel Big Coins Dealer, where we turn pocket change into profit and sometimes even a small fortune. You ever reach into your couch cushions and find a penny and think, hey, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one of those could be worth $1,000,000? Yep, a single copper-colored coin jingling around your junk drawer could be worth more than a Ferrari, more than your house, maybe even more than your mother-in-law's antique china collection. Today we're diving into one of the wildest coin stories out there, the 2014 D. Abraham Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint. This little guy may look like every other penny you've seen since grade school, but don't let its plain appearance fool you. We're talking about a 1 in a million coin, literally. So grab a coffee, kick back, and stick with me as we talk about how this ordinary-looking penny became one of the most valuable modern-day coins out there. And yes, I've got a story for you that involves a taco truck, a sock full of coins, and one serious twist of fate. Alright, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let's lay some groundwork. The 2014 D penny is part of the standard Lincoln cent series minted in Denver, hence the D Mint mark. Now, usually these are mass-produced like nobody's business. We're talking hundreds of millions of these pumped out every year. The average 2014 D penny in circulation is worth exactly 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you polish it and try to sell it on eBay to someone who doesn't know better. So how did one of these go from a cent to a cool $1,000,000? Let me tell you, this isn't just luck. This is a mix of rarity, condition, and what collectors call a perfect storm. Now, this particular penny was found by a guy named Tony from Kansas. True story. He was sorting through a 5-gallon water jug full of coins he'd saved over the years. The kind you swear you're gonna cash in someday, but just sits there mocking you next to the washing machine. Tony had recently retired and figured, hey, let's roll some coins and see what we've got. He found a shiny 2014 D penny that looked just a little bit different. The surface was flawless, the detail was razor sharp, and the color had this weird, almost satiny look to it. Long story short, it turned out to be a specimen strike, something that almost never leaves the mint unless there's a fluke or a mischievous employee who's feeling brave. So here's where it gets juicy. The coin was authenticated by a third-party grader and received a perfect MS-70 grade, mint state 70. That's as high as it gets. No flaws, no dings, no scratches, no fingerprints from that guy at the bank who always sneezes on your money. It's perfect. Combine that with the fact that it's a modern coin in perfect grade with a weird finish, and you've got the trifecta collectors drool over. Only one is known to exist like this. Just one. That's where the $1,000,000 price tag comes in. Collectors are all about rarity, condition, and story. This coin checks all 3 boxes. It's a modern coin in flawless condition with a bizarre backstory. Add in the hype of YouTube videos and coin forums lighting up like Christmas trees, and boom, the price skyrockets. Now you might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny. And yes, 99.9999% of 2014 D pennies are just that, pennies. But this one is the outlier, the Michael Jordan of pennies, the Beyoncé of pocket change. And the market responded like it always does when something truly rare appears, with deep wallets and bidding wars. Now let me tell you a little story from my own life. A couple years back, I was at a taco truck, best carnitas in town by the way, and I paid with a $5 bill. The guy gives me back change, including 4 pennies. I didn't even look at them, just shoved them into my pocket like we all do. Later that night, I dumped my pocket change into this old sock I keep in my nightstand. Don't judge, we all have one weird coin hiding spot. Months go by. One day, I'm bored, stuck inside during a rainstorm, so I pull out the sock and decide to look through it. Lo and behold, I spot a 1995 double-die penny. Now, it wasn't $1,000,000, but it was worth over $200. Paid for tacos for the next month, and ever since then I've checked every coin that comes into my hands. You never know when you're going to find gold in copper-colored form. Okay, so your odds of finding this exact 2014 D $1,000,000 penny are slim. But that doesn't mean you should give up looking. There are error coins out there, misstrikes, double dies, off-centers, transitional errors, and even misplaced mint marks. And guess what? They're hiding in plain sight. Check your change. Look at the date. Inspect the surface. Look for anything that seems off or unusually flawless. Get a good magnifier, not one of those dollar store ones, unless you enjoy squinting, and spend a few minutes a week looking through your coins. It's relaxing, it's fun, and it might just make you rich. While you're at it, here are a few common 2014 Penny errors that might not be worth $1 million but could still bring in some cash lines or bumps that shouldn't be. Their coin is not fully stamped in the center on Lincoln Memorial Pennies. Part of the design is missing. If you think you've found something special, take a pic and get it looked at by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll let you know what you've got and if it's worth sending in for grading. So there you have it, my friends, the story of the $1 million 2014 Lincoln penny. It may look like the rest, but this coin is a modern-day treasure hiding in plain sight. The moral of the story: don't judge a coin by its color, or its mint year, or the fact that it was sitting in a sock next to your toenail clippers for 3 years. You never know when a simple penny can turn your luck around. So the next time you get change at the store or dig into your coin jar at home, give those coins a second look. Especially those Lincolns. Honest Abe might just be hiding a fortune under his beard. Now, if you enjoyed this story and want more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts from the world of rare coins, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out. I post every week about coins worth money, strategies to build your collection, and how to turn your coin jar into a gold mine. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, even a penny can change your life. Where pocket change can turn into a pile of gold. And today, hold onto your hats and maybe check your coin jar, because we're talking about a tiny copper coin that's flipping the coin world upside down. I'm talking about the legendary, the elusive, the money-making machine, the 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. 1 cent worth, a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Now, before you start flipping cushions and digging through glove boxes, let me tell you, this coin is no ordinary penny. It's a hidden gem, a rare beauty that's caused more coin collectors to lose sleep than a toddler hopped up on candy. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, maybe grab that old coin album and get comfy, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why this little coin is so valuable, how you might just have one lying around, and what makes it so dang special. And trust me, I've got a story for you. You won't believe how I almost spent a fortune penny on a hot dog. True story. Stick around. Alright, let's rewind to 1968. The Beatles were topping the charts, cars were made out of pure Detroit steel, and Abraham Lincoln was still staring out from every penny like he had something to say. But something strange happened that year. The United States minted something, well, a little different. A little letter stamped on them to show where they were made. A D for Denver. An S for San Francisco. And no mark? That usually meant Philly. But here's where it gets wild. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint was producing proof pennies, the super shiny, collector-type coins, and every one of those should have had an S on it. But somehow, somewhere, a few of those proof pennies got minted without the S. That's right. A no-mint mark 1968 proof penny. Oops. Or was it a mistake? A conspiracy? A practical joke from a rogue mint worker with a twisted sense of humor? Nobody knows for sure. But what we do know is this: only a few of these no-mint mark proof pennies exist. And when collectors find out about a coin like this, oh buddy, they go bananas. How can a penny be worth over $1 million? Well, it's like this. Rarity, condition, and demand. That's the holy trinity of coin collecting. And this bad boy checks all 3 boxes. First, rarity. There are only a handful of these known to exist. We're talking maybe a dozen tops. And out of those, most are in average shape. But the ones that are flawless, the real pristine mirror finish coins? Those are the moneymakers. Second, condition. When a coin grades at PR 69 or PR 70, that's proof 69 or 70 on a scale of 70. That means it's in nearly perfect shape. No scratches, no dings, no smudges from your greasy pizza fingers. And third, demand. Coin collectors love oddities. They love mistakes. And when you combine that with Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved historical figures, and a mysterious minting error, well, you've got the perfect storm. Let me hit you with some numbers real quick. One of these rare 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies sold for over $1.1 million at auction. That's not a typo. That's enough to buy a house, a car, a boat, and still have enough left over for a year's worth of gas station beef jerky. Now let me take a little detour and tell you my personal story. I remember back in the late 90s, I was at a flea market in rural Indiana. You know, the kind where you can find rusty tools, cassette tapes, and more pocket knives than one man should legally own. I was walking around, sipping on a flat orange soda when I saw this older gentleman with a table full of coins. I leaned in, saw some wheat pennies, and asked if he had anything unusual. He grinned, handed me a plastic sleeve, and inside was a 1968 penny with no mint mark. I squinted at it, saw how shiny it was, and thought, this might be a proof. But I didn't know what I was looking at. He wanted $5 for it. $5. I passed. Why? Because I was saving my cash for a chili dog. I spent my last $5 on lunch instead of that coin. Yep, that's the moment I may have eaten $1 million penny. Literally. I still think about that chili dog every now and then. It was good, but not that good. First, dig out your 1968 pennies. If it's super shiny like it was just minted and it doesn't have a mint mark, no D, no S, nothing, you might be onto something. Next, check the edges. Proof coins have very sharp, squared edges. They're crisper than your uncle's white New Balance sneakers. That's the flat area around Lincoln's face. Is it mirror-like? Can you see your reflection? That's a good sign. If it ticks those boxes, it's time to call in the pros. Get it graded by a top-tier grading company like PCGS or NGC. Don't try to clean it. Don't drop it. Don't tape it to your refrigerator like a school art project. Put it in a safe holder and treat it like it's a sleeping baby. Also, don't fall for fakes. The coin world is full of tricksters. If someone tries to sell you one at a garage sale and it looks a little too perfect, make sure it's authenticated before you remortgage the house. If you go to estate sales, flea markets, or coin shows, always ask to see proof sets from 1968. A no-mint mark penny hiding in one of those is like finding a winning lottery ticket in your grandpa's sock drawer. And for those of you thinking, oh come on, the chances are too slim, let me remind you, someone out there found one. Probably while looking for lunch money. So there you have it, folks. The story of how a humble little 1968 penny with no mint mark is worth $1.1 million today. It's a mix of history, mystery, and a whole lot of luck. And who knows, you might be just one coin jar away from hitting the jackpot. Before you go, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Hit the bell so you never miss a coin that could change your life. And if you've ever made a dumb coin mistake like I did, drop a comment below. Let's laugh about our lost fortunes together. Remember, coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. And you're already holding the map. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more coins worth money and the wild stories that come with M. Hey folks, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, that little copper-colored coin you probably ignore in your change jar, could be worth over $1 million? That's right. A 2013 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. $1.2 million for something most people accidentally vacuum up under their couch cushions. Now before you go flipping your couch upside down or raiding your kid's piggy bank, hang tight. I'm going to tell you why this penny is worth so much, what to look for, and how you might strike it rich if you find one too. This is the kind of story that makes you rethink every coin you ever spent on a vending machine Snickers bar. Trust me, you're gonna want to hear this all the way through. Well, here's the scoop. First off, the no mint mark part is huge. Most pennies from 2013 were made in Philadelphia and carry no mint mark. That's not unusual. But this particular penny had a crazy mint error that made it stand out like a sore thumb at a hand modeling audition. A penny with no mint mark? I've got 100 of those. And you might. But here's the twist. This $1.2 million beauty had a double die obverse error. That means the design on the front of the coin, good ol' Abe Lincoln, was struck twice by the minting press, slightly misaligned. The result? You get doubling in the lettering, especially on the words Liberty and I in God We Trust. It's not super obvious unless you look closely or you've got a magnifying glass and a dream. To a regular person, it might look like a blurry coin or something you dropped in a puddle. But to a collector? That's pure gold, or well, copper-plated zinc, but worth its weight in gold. Add to that the coin's immaculate condition. We're talking MS 70 grade here, folks. That's the highest quality a coin can get. No scratches, no fingerprints, not even a smudge from some guy at the gas station. It looked like it was made yesterday by a mint worker with OCD and a microscope, and when you combine an ultra-rare error with a flawless condition, what do you get? Bidding wars. Crazy collectors. And yes, million-dollar price tags. A couple years back, I was helping my cousin clean out his garage. He had a giant glass jar of coins he hadn't looked at in decades. Dusty thing, almost looked like it had a science experiment growing on it. I told him, let me look through those. I've been learning about coin values. He laughed and said, go ahead. If you find anything worth more than $1, I'll take you out to dinner. I didn't find anything worth $1 million, but I did find a 1972 double-die penny worth over $300. That's right. Out of a dusty old jar he hadn't touched since Clinton was in office. These valuable coins don't only show up in collectors' safes. They're hiding in everyday places, your kitchen drawer, the floor of your car, that weird bowl by the door where you dump your change. Now, if you're wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these magical 2013 pennies? Let me break it down. That means it was minted in Philly. Again, common, but necessary. Check for doubling in the words liberty and I in God we trust. You might need a magnifying glass or even a microscope. If it looks like it just rolled off the press, you've got something special. Uncirculated is ideal. If you've got one that ticks all those boxes, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. It's the kind of thing that makes you question whether it's safe to keep your coin jar in the kitchen or if it needs a security guard. It all comes down to rarity and condition. Coins that have something weird about them, like a double design or off-center strike, become instant favorites for people who want something unique. And when there's only a handful known to exist, that's when things get spicy. Think of it like baseball cards. A regular 2013 penny is like a mass-produced card of a third-string outfielder. But a rare double-die error in mint condition? That's the Babe Ruth rookie card of coins, and here's a fun tip. If you're just getting started in coin collecting, start with your own spare change. You'd be amazed what's out there. I've known folks who found silver coins from the 60s, rare nickels, even a valuable quarter just lying in their car's cup holder. Now back to this 2013 penny. The one that sold for $1.2 million was part of a private auction. A collector outbid everyone else, probably because he knew how rare it was. These sales don't happen on eBay. This was a full-blown numismatic showdown. The kind where people wear suits, wave paddles, and shout numbers you'd usually only hear on a car lot or a home mortgage application, but that doesn't mean you can't find one. In fact, more are probably out there. Some may still be in circulation. That's the real kicker. Even if yours isn't in perfect condition, you could still get hundreds or thousands for it. Not every rare coin is worth 7 figures, but a few $100 from a penny? I'll take that any day. So here's the deal, folks. The next time someone tells you pennies aren't worth anything, just smile and think about the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that went for $1.2 million. Check your change. Look through your coin jars. Raid the sofa cushions. That penny could be closer than you think. If you liked this video and want more tips on coins that could change your life, or at least your wallet, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next hidden treasure. I've got stories about million-dollar quarters, dimes that could buy a car, and nickels that might be the key to your early retirement. Hey, what if I told you that one little penny, that copper-colored coin that's probably rolling around in your junk drawer right now, could be worth a mind-blowing $1.3 million? No, I haven't been sniffing glue, and no, this isn't a prank. I'm talking about the 1980 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That's right, 1 cent that could change your life. Now I know what you're thinking, come on man, it's just a penny. I used one of those this morning to scrape gum off my shoe. But this isn't just any penny. This is a hidden treasure in plain sight, the kind of coin you dream about finding in an old jar on grandma's shelf. And today, we're diving deep into what makes the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so valuable, why collectors are practically drooling over it, and how you might already have one sitting at home. A few years ago, I was helping my cousin clean out his garage. We were knee-deep in old boxes, dust bunnies the size of squirrels flying everywhere, when I spotted an old Folgers coffee can, one of those red ones with a plastic lid. I opened it up and, lo and behold, it was packed with coins. Pennies, dimes, nickels, you name it. At the time, I thought, cool, maybe I'll make $5 out of this. Fast forward to today, and now I'm kicking myself because I didn't think to look for a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Don't be like me. Let's make sure you don't miss out on a $1 million moment. First off, a little background for those who are new to the coin collecting world. Mint marks are tiny letters on coins that tell you where they were made. Most pennies from 1980 will have a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But when you find a 1980 penny with no mint mark at all, that's when things get interesting. These no mint mark pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And while Philly usually didn't mark their coins back then, there's one version of this penny that's turning heads like a bald eagle at a 4th of July barbecue. There's a very specific variation of the 1980 no mint mark penny that has a die error. We're talking about something called a double die obverse. That's a fancy term that basically means the coin's front side, the one with Lincoln's face, was stamped twice ever so slightly off. And when you look closely, the lettering and details look blurry or doubled up. To a collector, that's like finding a golden ticket in your Wonka bar. Now here's the kicker. Most folks have never even heard of this error. That's why so many of these pennies slip through the cracks, ending up in jars, drawers, and vending machines across America. Imagine buying a Diet Coke with a penny worth more than your house. It happens more than you'd think. Number 2, condition is key. If your 1980 no mint mark penny has that doubling and it's in pristine shape, what collectors call mint state or uncirculated, then buddy, you are sitting on a potential gold mine. I'm talking no scratches, no wear, full original luster. Basically, if it looks like it just rolled out of the mint yesterday, that's the sweet spot. There are only a few known examples of this error in such high-grade condition, which is exactly why one of them recently sold at auction for $1.3 million. Let me say that again, someone handed over 7 figures for a penny. That's the kind of story that makes you dig through the couch cushions with a flashlight. Let's get a little nerdy here for a minute. When professional graders look at a coin, they use the Sheldon scale, which rates coins from 1 to 70. If your penny scores above 65 on that scale and has the double die obverse, you better start pricing beachfront property, my friend. Simple. Go through your old coins. Check jars, drawers, coffee cans, and even your car's cup holders. Look for a 1980 penny with no mint mark. Then grab a magnifying glass and check the words Liberty and In God We Trust on the front. If the letters look like they're doubled or fuzzy, you might just have something special. Oh, and don't just stop at 1980. While we're at it, other Lincoln pennies with doubling errors are also valuable. The 1955 double die is famous and the 1969 S is another monster. But the 1980 no mint mark has been flying under the radar for years and it's finally getting the attention it deserves. Head to coin shops, flea markets, even yard sales. Sometimes people sell old coins in bulk and don't know what they have. You could scoop up $1 million penny for less than a cup of coffee. That's the kind of thrill that keeps coin hunters going. Every handful of change is like a mini treasure hunt, and just to make it extra fun, I've started carrying a little loop in my pocket, looks like a jewelry magnifier, so I can check coins on the spot. I've definitely confused a few cashiers, but hey, they'll laugh until I walk out the door with $1 million grin. So let's recap. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, if it has that rare double die obverse and it's in top-notch condition, could be worth up to $1.3 million. That's not hype, that's cold hard coin fact. And the best part? You might already have one. So next time you're fishing for change, don't just grab and go. Take a good look. That beat-up penny in your palm might be worth more than your car, your house, and your Uncle Larry's boat combined. Now before you go dumping every coin jar onto the kitchen table, let me hit you with one last thing. If you love learning about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, you gotta hit that subscribe button. This channel is your one-stop shop for coin hunting strategies, insider tips, and crazy true stories that'll keep you entertained and informed. Plus, you don't want to be the guy who finds $1 million penny and has no idea what he's looking at. So hit that like, smash that subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out. We've got more $1 million coins coming your way, and you don't want to be left in the dark while someone else cashes in. Alright coin hunters, that's all for today. Now get out there and start digging, your treasure could be 1 penny away. Hey, hold up. Don't toss that old penny just yet. That little copper coin from 1981 you've got jingling in your junk drawer? Yeah, the one you thought was just pocket change? It could be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yep, you heard me right. $1.4 million for a penny. Now, before you start flipping your couch cushions or raiding your grandpa's coin jar, let's talk about this little miracle of money, the 1981 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This bad boy isn't just rare, it's become the holy grail for a bunch of coin collectors. So sit back, grab your coffee, and let me take you on a ride through history, mistakes at the mint, and the reason why your next millionaire moment might just be 1 cent away. Alright, so here's the deal with the 1981 Lincoln penny. First, let's talk basics. It's got Honest Abe's face on the front, like always. It says Liberty, the year 1981, and under that there's supposed to be a little mint mark, you know, those tiny letters like D or S that show where the coin was made. But on this coin, it's missing. Completely gone. Vanished. Like a magician made it disappear. Not every penny without a mint mark is worth millions. That's where it gets juicy. Most pennies without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia, and that was totally normal. But here's where the plot thickens. This particular 1981 penny has some serious error magic going on. There's a very rare version that's missing the mint mark because of a die error, basically. The tool used to stamp the penny didn't get the mint mark etched in it. What makes this error ultra valuable is that it happened during a specific run with very few coins, and collectors go wild for it. Like, empty your retirement account and fight on eBay. Wild. So a few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, dusty boxes, random tools, a mystery smell I still can't identify to this day. He hands me this old Folgers coffee can full of pennies, like the old school red can with a plastic lid. He says, "Take it, I haven't touched it since Reagan was in office." Naturally, being the coin nerd that I am, I go home, dump it out on the kitchen table, and start digging. I wasn't expecting much, maybe a wheat penny or two. But then there it was. A 1981 penny, shiny but weirdly missing a mint mark. At first, I figured it was just a Philly penny. No big deal, but something about it felt different. It had this super crisp strike, nowhere, it looked uncirculated, like it had skipped decades of piggy banks and pockets. Long story short, I had it checked out, and while it wasn't the $1,000,000 version, believe me, my heart broke just a little. It was still worth over $300. Not bad for a coffee can coin. So yeah, these pennies are floating around out there. Some are in jars, some are under couch cushions, and a few are probably lost in that black hole between your car seat and center console. Uncirculated or close to mint condition is the jackpot. The crisper, the better. 1981 pennies were made of 95% copper. You can usually tell by the weight. If you've got a scale, it should weigh around 3.11 grams. The penny that sold for $1.4 million? It wasn't just rare, it was practically flawless. Certified by grading services, encased in plastic like a time capsule, and the kind of coin you'd see in a museum, not the bottom of a sock drawer. Yes, people do pay that kind of money for a penny. Collectors will drop serious cash if it means completing a set or owning a piece of history. Some folks collect stamps, others collect muscle cars. Coin people? We collect $1,000,000 pennies like they're Faberge eggs. Also, let me tell you, grading matters. If you think you've found a rare 1981 no mint mark penny, don't go spend it on gas. Take it to a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. It might cost a bit up front, but it could make all the difference in proving its value. Even if your penny's not worth $1 million, it might still bring in a few hundred or even a few thousand if it's in great shape. That's better than letting it sit in your sock drawer doing nothing. Well, for one, never underestimate the power of pocket change. That 1981 penny you thought was just a leftover from a vending machine run might actually be your retirement plan in disguise. Check your coins, check your change, and check that old coffee can from the garage. You never know when you'll strike gold, or in this case, copper. And hey, if you like learning how to spot coins worth crazy money, or you just enjoy the idea of becoming a coin detective like me, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and crazy stories about coins that are secretly worth small fortunes. Stick around, my friend, because your next $1,000,000 discovery could be just 1 penny away. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers. Ever found a penny and thought, just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you that one of those plain old pennies, specifically a 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth up to $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single, ordinary-looking penny that's probably sitting in a jar on your kitchen counter could be your golden ticket. You're not dreaming, and nope, I haven't lost my marbles. Although, full disclosure, my wife might say otherwise when I start flipping over couch cushions looking for coins. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most exciting, eyebrow-raising, bank account exploding coins out there. I'm going to walk you through exactly why this 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is worth serious cash, what makes it so special, and how you can find one. Maybe even in your own pocket, so grab that cup of coffee or soda or whatever keeps you going, because this is a wild ride into the world of small coins with big value. Alright, let's start with a little background for the folks who might be new to coin collecting or just stumbled on this video while wondering how to pay rent with pennies. The 1994 Lincoln penny is part of the classic Lincoln cent series. You know the one, good ol' Abe sitting proudly on the front, staring off like he's got some serious thoughts about the economy. On the back, it had the Lincoln Memorial back then. These cents were made in huge numbers, like over 6 billion that year. Most of these 1994 pennies came with a mint mark. You've got D for Denver and S for San Francisco if it's a proof coin. But the one we're talking about today has got no mint mark at all. And that little detail, that's the jackpot. Normally, a penny without a mint mark was made in Philadelphia, which isn't too crazy. But in 1994, there was a very specific batch of these pennies that were made without a mint mark and had a few extra features that make collectors foam at the mouth. Meaning the coin dies that stamped the pennies were slightly messed up. These errors caused sharp doubling, misaligned features, and other quirks that weren't supposed to happen. Combine that with the lack of a mint mark and BAM, you've got yourself a collector's dream. It's a story of timing, condition, and who's willing to pay. And folks, one of these bad boys sold for a whopping $1.5 million at auction. Because it was in almost perfect condition, what we call a mint state 69 red. Just 1 point below the highest possible grade. That means shiny, crisp detail, and zero signs it's been rolling around in someone's truck for 20 years. Now let me tell you something real quick. A few years back, I was digging through an old cigar box of coins my grandpa gave me. I was mainly doing it to feel nostalgic, maybe find a wheat penny or two for fun. I had no clue what I was doing back then. Well, I came across a 1994 penny, no mint mark, and I thought, this looks clean. But instead of checking it, I used it to buy a bag of chips. Yup, I traded away a potential fortune for a bag of barbecue lays. I still can't walk past those chips without hearing the catching of lost opportunity. That moment lit a fire in me. I started learning. I started checking every coin. And that's why I'm here, telling you guys this stuff, so you don't end up like me, a guy with empty pockets and greasy fingers. Look under the year. If there's no mint mark, that's a good sign. But don't stop there. Check for weird features. Is the lettering off? Is Lincoln's face doubled slightly? Do the details look unusually sharp or funky? Look at the color. A rich, red hue usually means the coin hasn't been handled much, which boosts value big time. Grade it. Seriously, if you find one you think might be valuable, don't stick it back in your change jar. Send it off to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly how valuable it is. And trust me, if it's even close to that mint state level, you're going to want it protected and certified. A regular 1994 no mint mark penny in average circulated condition is worth well about a penny. But if you find one in excellent shape, especially with errors or a near-perfect surface, the price jumps faster than a squirrel on a trampoline. Mint state 65 examples can sell for hundreds. Move that up to 68 or 69, and now we're talking thousands. And that one record-setting 69 red with the die error? That's the monster that sold for $1.5 million. There are also collectors out there right now hunting for the next perfect one. They're ready to pay big. And the best part? These things are still out there. They weren't all found and hoarded in the 90s. You could literally pull one out of circulation today. I know a guy, lives 2 towns over, who found a valuable penny while sorting through his daughter's piggy bank. She was saving up for a Barbie dream house, and he almost gave her $1 million coin to buy plastic furniture. Luckily, he double-checked. That 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny you've been ignoring? It might be a sleeper hit worth a fortune. And all it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe a magnifying glass if your eyes are like mine after 40. Coin collecting isn't just about old dusty books and stamp albums your uncle kept in the attic. It's a living, breathing hobby that could make you real money. And let's be honest, it's also a ton of fun. There's nothing like the thrill of the hunt and the feeling when you spot something special that everyone else missed, so don't let those pennies pass you by. Check your change. Look in the couch cushions. Dig through that jar in the laundry room. Who knows, maybe your next vending machine penny could pay off your mortgage. And if you enjoyed this video, had a laugh, or learned something new, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin stories, collecting tips, and hidden treasure tales coming your way. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're just getting started. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and remember, not all treasure is buried. Some of it jingles in your pocket. Hey, what if I told you there's a little copper coin sitting in someone's junk drawer right now that's worth 1.6 million bucks? Yep, a single penny. 1 cent. The kind we usually toss into the couch cushions or find glued to the bottom of our car's cup holder with 3 years of old soda. Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the 1952 Abraham Lincoln penny. And if you've got one of these in the right condition, you might just be sitting on enough money to buy a house, a classic car, and still have plenty left over for a serious steak dinner. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny from 1952? I've thrown 100 of those in the Coinstar machine. Don't worry, I've been there too. In fact, let me tell you a little story to kick things off. A few years ago, I was at this garage sale. You know the kind, a few old lamps, a broken lawnmower, and about 17 mystery cables nobody can identify. I spotted this dusty little coffee can full of old coins. Guy says, you can have the whole thing for $5. I said, make it 3 and throw in that plastic Santa missing an eye. We shook hands. I took it home. For a while, it just sat there on the shelf. One rainy Saturday, I finally decided to dump it out. I'm digging through Buffalo nickels, Mercury dimes, all kinds of random stuff, and bam, there it was. A 1952 Lincoln penny. I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, we all know about the 1909 SVB and the 1943 copper, but 1952? Never heard anything crazy about it. Now, not every 1952 penny is going to make you a millionaire. But if you find one in top-notch condition, we're talking a pristine, untouched, bright red coin that looks like it just rolled off the press, it could be worth up to $1.6 million. That's because of rarity, condition, and a little thing called full red designation. More on that in a sec. The 1952 penny was struck in San Francisco. The mint produced over 137 million of them. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the thing. Most of them were circulated, beat up, scratched, dinged, tossed in pockets and piggy banks. Finding one in uncirculated, mint red condition is rare. Like rare? Unicorn in a tuxedo rare. .1, that S mint mark right under the date. Make sure it's a clear S. Not a blob. Not a smudge. A real, defined S. .2, the color. You've got brown, and full red. Full red is the gold standard. It means the coin hasn't toned or darkened. It stayed shiny, coppery, and glorious for over 70 years. .3, strike quality. Some of these coins have super sharp detail. You can see every whisker on Lincoln's beard. Those are the big money coins. And finally, condition. The best ones are graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's mint state, folks. These coins never saw the inside of a vending machine. Well, here's the thing. There are only a handful of these coins known in perfect condition. Collectors go nuts for rarity. It's like the Mona Lisa of pennies. You've got rich collectors, competitive bidding wars, auction houses hyping things up. And suddenly that coin you almost swallowed as a kid is worth more than a Ferrari. That same coin that fetched 1.6 million at auction? It was sitting in someone's desk drawer. Seriously. They didn't even know it was valuable until they had it appraised. So yeah, these stories aren't just legend. They happen to real people. Now, before you start shaking down every jar of coins in your house, let me give you a few quick tips. First, get a magnifying glass. Seriously, even a cheap one from the dollar store helps. Second, check for that S mint mark. No mint mark means it's from Philadelphia. AD means Denver. You want the S. Third, look at the color. If it looks bright and reddish like it's barely aged, you might have a winner. Fourth, consider getting it graded if you think you've got something special. It'll cost you a bit up front, but it can make all the difference if you want to sell. Fifth, don't clean your coin. Ever. Not with a toothbrush. Not with ketchup. Not with your grandma's silver polish. Leave it alone. Collectors want natural surfaces even if they look dirty to you. Do your homework. There are tons of resources online, coin shows, and even local coin dealers who can help you figure out what you've got. That little penny you thought was worthless? It could be the key to an early retirement, a new truck, or even your dream vacation to somewhere that doesn't serve instant coffee. The 1952 S. Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket. And the best part? It could be hiding right under your nose. Now if you've got a coin jar full of old pennies, it's time to go treasure hunting. You never know what you'll find until you look. If you like this video and want more tips on coins that are actually worth money, subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more stories, collecting strategies, and coin facts coming your way. We're talking million-dollar nickels, era coins worth more than your car, and even how to sell your coins the smart way. Hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and drop a comment if you've ever found a cool coin in the wild. Hey folks, grab your magnifying glasses and empty your pockets because today we're talking about a little copper coin that might just change your life. That's right, we're talking about the 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the one you probably flipped into a wishing fountain last week? Yeah, that one might have been worth $1.7 million. Yep, I said million. Not thousand. Not hundred. A full-on mansion buying, yacht renting, early retirement level $1 million. I know what you're thinking. A 2017 penny? That was like 5 minutes ago. You mean to tell me that regular old coin with Honest Abe's mug on it could be hiding a goldmine of value? Oh yes, my friends. And today we're diving deep into why this particular penny is raking in serious cash, how to spot the jackpot version, and what makes it so darn special. I'll even share a personal story about how a penny almost caused a family feud at my house. So buckle up, coin lovers and accidental millionaires in waiting. This is going to be good. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The 2017 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint. That little D under the date? That's what it stands for. Nothing shady. It's not a grade, it's not an insult, just where the penny was born. In general, 2017 was not a year known for rare coins. Millions and millions of pennies were churned out. They're still rolling around in laundry machines, couch cushions, and probably the back seat of your car. So what makes one of them worth a cool $1.7 million? Well, not all pennies are created equal, my friend. Some have minting errors, some are struck on the wrong planchet, and others are so bizarre they look like the US Mint had a Monday morning hangover. The 2017 D that sold for $1.7 million? It had what's called a double die obverse with a high-grade condition that made collectors lose their minds. We're talking crystal clear doubling on Lincoln's eyes, nose, and inscriptions. It's like Abe Lincoln's face went to a funhouse mirror and came out saying cha-ching. The error that changed everything, so let's talk about that error for a second. A double die happens when the coin die, that's the stamp used to make the image, shifts just a bit when creating the design. Imagine trying to draw the same smiley face twice in the same spot and being slightly off. You'd see two eyes where there should be one. That's exactly what happens here. On the 2017 D, the doubling was dramatic enough to get certified by top grading companies. The best-known one so far was graded MS69 red by PCGS. That's near-perfect condition, folks. Like, if this penny was a student, it would be the kid ruining the curve in every class. Combine a rare error with perfect condition, and boom, you've got a collector bidding like it's the Super Bowl of pocket change. Well, here's the thing about the coin world. It's like the art market. A coin is worth what someone is willing to pay. And apparently, someone really wanted this penny. It was auctioned off at a high-end event, and once it got buzz, everyone and their grandmother started bidding. By the end, it had climbed to $1.7 million. I mean, imagine standing there with a paddle and thinking, yep, I'm gonna drop almost $2 million on a penny. That's not a hobby, that's a flex, but to serious collectors, this wasn't just any penny. It was a masterpiece. The error, the condition, the rarity, it checked every box. And when something checks every box in a niche world like coin collecting, the sky's the limit. The penny that nearly caused World War II. Alright, let me tell you about the time my cousin thought he found a rare penny and almost burned our family to the ground. So we're sitting at Thanksgiving, right? Everyone's stuffed with turkey, mashed potatoes, and at least one politically charged opinion. My cousin Mike pulls a 2017 D penny out of his wallet and says, "This thing could be worth millions." Suddenly, everyone's an expert. Uncle Joe's squinting at it with his reading glasses upside down. Grandma's saying she remembers when a loaf of bread cost 3 cents. And my little nephew is trying to trade it for a peanut butter cookie. Long story short, we spent an hour Googling mint marks, arguing over what a double die looks like, and examining that thing like it was the Declaration of Independence. Turned out it was just a regular penny. Worth 1 cent. But for a solid hour, that coin was the MVP of Thanksgiving. Even if your penny isn't worth $1.7 million, it can still cause chaos, bring people together, and make for one heck of a story. Okay, back to business. You're probably wondering how to tell if you have a 2017 D million dollar penny. Here's what to look for. First, check for that little D mint mark under the date. Gotta have it. Then, grab a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone camera. Look for doubling on the date, the word Liberty, and Abe's eyes and beard. If things look like they're vibrating or doubled, you might have something. The condition matters too. If it's scratched, bent, or looks like it survived a blender, it's probably not hitting that million mark. If it looks pristine and has clear doubling, it's time to get it graded. Contact PCGS or NGC. They're the big dogs, and no, don't take it to your cousin Mike. He still thinks the nickel with gum on it is rare. Alright, let's say lightning strikes and you've got the one. The penny. The jackpot. What now? You don't just toss it on eBay for $5 and a sandwich. You want to go through a reputable coin dealer or auction house. Stax Bowers, Heritage Auctions, or even PCGS partner auctions are good starting points. They'll help you get top dollar and avoid scammers. Also, don't clean the coin. I know, it sounds weird, but cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Just keep it safe, dry, and tucked away until it gets professionally examined. You might also want to get insurance on it. Imagine losing a $1 million coin because it slipped between your car seat and the center console. That would hurt more than stepping on a Lego. So there you have it, folks. The humble 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. It may look like a regular coin, but if it's got that special error and mint state condition, it could be your ticket to millionaire status. All from something you might have just tossed in a tip jar. Next time you get change at the store, take a second and look closely. That penny could be your golden goose in disguise, and hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of coin collecting, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and ring that bell so you never miss another tip on coins worth real money. Wouldn't you rather find a $1.7 million penny than scratch off another losing lottery ticket? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next penny be a priceless one. Hey folks, grab your coffee, your reading glasses, and maybe even your lucky coin pouch, because what I'm about to tell you could quite literally flip your fortune on its head. What if I told you that a plain-looking penny from 1987, yep, that everyday coppery coin with old Abe Lincoln sitting proudly on the front, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? You probably look at me the way my wife does when I say I'll clean out the garage. Skeptical, amused, but deep down a little hopeful. Now before you start dumping your coin jars all over the floor, hear me out. This isn't some get-rich-quick nonsense. We're talking real coin collectors, real rarity, and real big money. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1987 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why one of these babies is fetching $1.8 million in today's market. So sit back, relax, and let's dig into the story of how a 1-cent coin can turn your wallet into a treasure chest. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about the basics. The 1987 Lincoln penny was part of the standard issue coins released by the United States Mint. Most were produced at either the Philadelphia or Denver mints. Now, coins from Denver carry a little D mark and coins from San Francisco, usually proofs, carry an S. Philadelphia coins often had no mint mark at all, especially for pennies, but here's where it gets juicy. There's a certain batch of 1987 Lincoln pennies that are missing the mint mark when they weren't supposed to be. That's the money shot right there. These aren't your ordinary Philadelphia no mint mark pennies. They're from a die error, a rare one, that slipped past the mint's usual quality control. Now before you start checking every single 1987 penny you've ever touched, I've gotta tell you, not every no mint mark coin from that year is worth millions. But some very specific ones are. It's all about the coin's condition, the die variety, and that golden word every coin collector dreams about, rarity. Let me tell you how I stumbled into the world of coin hunting. A few years back, I was cleaning out my late grandfather's dusty coin collection. Most of it was old nickels, some buffalo heads, a bunch of wheat pennies, and honestly, I didn't know squat about coin values back then. I figured it was just sentimental stuff. But there was one 1987 penny in a little Ziploc bag, no mint mark, and it just felt different. The shine, the sharp details, the way Abe's beard looked extra stylish, something told me it was worth checking out. Now I didn't hit the jackpot with that one, but it got me hooked. Down the rabbit hole I went. I started researching error coins, mint marks, die varieties, and next thing you know, I'm watching coin auctions at midnight like a teenager on a Netflix binge. And that's when I came across the legend of the 1987 no mint mark penny worth over $1 million. The specific high-value 1987 penny was struck using a die that was meant to be marked, either with a mint mark or specific proof features, but ended up blank. That means something went wrong at the production level and the coin slipped through the cracks unnoticed. These little errors are super rare. These pennies weren't just rare. They're often in near-perfect condition. In the world of coin grading, we're talking about MS67 or higher. That's mint state, practically untouched, no scratches, no dullness, no signs of life having kicked it around in someone's jeans pockets since the 80s. There are collectors out there, and I mean big money collectors, who are willing to pay top dollar for these oddities. The rarer, the better. And when word gets out about one of these coins showing up at auction, the bidding gets hotter than a 4th of July barbecue point. One such penny showed up a couple of years ago at a high-profile auction. It had no mint mark, was in flawless condition, and had documentation verifying its unique error status. It sold for $1.8 million. That's not monopoly money. That's buy a house, get a boat, and still have enough left over for tacos money. Let that sink in. One single penny that you could easily mistake for just pocket change went for nearly $2 million. Now I know what you're thinking. What are the odds of finding one? Well, I'll be honest, they're slim. Like, try finding a snack in my fridge right after the kids got home slim. But here's the deal, they're out there. You never know. That penny sitting in your glove box, that coin you got back as change from the gas station, or even one buried at the bottom of your couch cushion could be the golden goose you've been sitting on. Let me tell you about my buddy Charlie. Good guy, loves fishing, hates paperwork, and didn't know a thing about coins. One day, he sees a video kind of like this one, decides to check his coin jar, and boom, finds a 1972 double die penny worth over $5,000. Not quite millionaire status, but he did take his wife on a cruise and hasn't shut up about it since. If you think you've got something special, send it in to be professionally graded. That little plastic case can make a big difference in price. You can also compare your coin to verified examples online or visit a local coin show and get some face time with the experts. Trust me, coin people are passionate. A little too passionate sometimes. I once saw two guys nearly come to blows over a 1914 D wheat penny. It was like the Super Bowl of nerd fights, so there you have it. The humble 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a simple little coin that could be sitting in your change jar, hiding in plain sight, worth a staggering $1.8 million. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find one tomorrow. But here's what I am saying. Every great treasure hunt starts with curiosity. And whether you're a lifelong collector or just someone who found this video while looking for cat memes, checking your coins is one of the easiest, cheapest, and most exciting hobbies out there. Before you go flipping over your couch cushions and raiding your kids' piggy banks, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button. Seriously. We've got more coin tips, hidden money strategies, and unbelievable coin finds coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Hey folks, have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, hey, it's just a penny? Well, you might want to think again. Because today we're talking about a 2014 Lincoln Penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yep, you heard me right. 1 cent, turning into a fortune big enough to retire on a yacht, sipping sweet tea and watching bald eagles fly by. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions like a raccoon on a caffeine rush, let me tell you this isn't your average pocket change. This penny is rare, mysterious, and one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. So grab your magnifying glasses, friends, because this video is going to walk you through everything you need to know about the legendary 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I'll tell you what to look for, how it got to be so valuable, and why it's turning heads in the collector world, and somewhere in the middle of this, I'll tell you a little story about the time I passed up a valuable penny and cried about it later. Well, if you're holding a 2014 penny right now, flip it over and check the front, right under the year. Most of them should have a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, depending on where they were minted. But every once in a blue moon, you'll find one with nothing there. Just a lonely little 2014 date. Now, you might be thinking, big deal. Maybe they forgot to stamp it. And you're kind of right. But here's the kicker, these no mint mark coins aren't just minting mistakes. They're ultra-rare variations, and collectors lose their minds over them. In the case of this 2014 Lincoln penny, the missing mint mark is believed to be the result of a unique die error at the Philadelphia Mint. Usually, Philly coins don't show a mint mark, but in modern times, nearly all coins have some identifier. This one didn't, and that makes it special. Add to that a flawless finish, a strong strike, and uncirculated condition, and you've got yourself a once-in-a-generation coin. This little copper-colored treasure has been graded by top certification services and in mint state. We're talking MS-69 or MS-70. It has fetched prices up to $1.9 million at auction. You heard me. A penny. 1 cent worth more than most homes. There were only a handful of these known to exist in such pristine condition, and when collectors see a unicorn like that, the bidding wars get wild. I'm talking heated auction houses, folks waving paddles like they're at a rodeo. A few years back, I was at a flea market. You know, one of those places where someone's junk might be your $1 million find. I'm rummaging through a jar of coins some guy was selling for $10 a scoop. Yeah, a scoop like we're buying candy. And I see a shiny 2014 penny with no mint mark. A month later, the exact same flea market guy sells a rare penny to a collector for over $100,000. Was it the one I saw? I don't know. But to this day, every time I see a penny, I give it the full detective treatment. So don't be like me. Don't let your $1 million moment slip through your fingers. If your penny checks those boxes, you could be holding a gold mine disguised as a coin that everyone else ignored. And hey, even if it's not the one, keep checking. Because pennies like this don't scream, "I'm valuable." They whisper it, and only people who pay attention can hear them. Well, the coin collecting world is full of high rollers. Some folks have coin collections that are worth more than luxury cars. They're always looking for that next headline-grabbing acquisition. If you've got a verified 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you better believe people will line up with checkbooks in hand. So there you have it. A plain old penny that's anything but plain. The 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny is the kind of coin that changes lives, quietly sitting in a piggy bank or coin jar, waiting to surprise someone smart enough to take a second look. Treasure is hiding in plain sight. In your change, in that old coin jar, maybe even in your glove box. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one. But you could become one if you do, and if you liked this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are worth serious money. We're talking quarters, dimes, nickels, even nickels that could pay off your mortgage. I'll teach you how to spot them, how to grade them, and how to make sure you never throw away a fortune by mistake. Hit that like button if you learned something new. Drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be more than just pocket change. I love hearing your stories. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a coin that's been sitting in your pocket or maybe even buried in the bottom of your drawer could be worth a small fortune? Sounds crazy, right? Well, get ready to be blown away because today we're talking about the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that unassuming little penny from over 50 years ago could be worth up to $1 million in today's market. You heard me right, $1 million. And no, I'm not pulling your leg here. Stick around because I'm about to walk you through exactly why this penny is worth more than just the cost of a cheap cup of coffee. Plus, I've got a personal story to share about how I nearly missed out on finding something truly valuable in my own coin collection. Spoiler alert, it involves a lot of oops moments. But hey, that's part of the thrill of coin collecting, right? So grab your magnifying glass and settle in because we're diving deep into the world of the 1968 no-mint mark penny, how to spot it, and why it might just be the golden ticket to your financial future. Now, before we get into the details of this little treasure, let me give you some quick background. In 1968, the US Mint made a bunch of pennies, but here's where things get interesting. Some of them didn't have a mint mark. The mint mark, if you didn't know, is that little letter you'd usually see on the coin's obverse. That's the head side for you non-coin geeks out there. Normally, it tells you where the coin was made. Philly pennies? No mint mark. Denver? You'd see a D. San Francisco? You'd see an S. But in 1968, some of those pennies came out of Philadelphia with no mint mark at all. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what's the big deal about a penny with no mint mark? Well, that's where it gets juicy. See, the absence of that mint mark is actually what makes these pennies so rare. In a sea of millions of pennies that were produced that year with mint marks, this little mistake, or rare occurrence, depending on how you look at it, stood out. And the more collectors and coin experts started to catch on, the more the price of these bad boys started skyrocketing. It all comes down to rarity and demand. When something is rare, it's valuable, and coin collectors, myself included, get really excited when they come across something this elusive. And remember, we're not talking about just any penny here. This is an Abraham Lincoln penny, so it has that iconic design that's been around for over a century. The fact that it's got no mint mark and it's from 1968? That's the perfect storm of rarity and historical value. Now, I bet you're sitting there thinking, okay, sounds good, but how the heck do I spot one of these bad boys? Fair question. First, let's start with the basics. If you've got a penny from 1968, check the obverse, that's the head side again, and look for the spot where the mint mark should be. If there's nothing there, boom, you've got yourself a 1968 no mint mark penny. But don't get too excited just yet. It's not just about the date and the missing mint mark. You've got to take into account the condition of the coin too. Just like with anything collectible, the better the condition, the higher the value. A well-preserved, shiny penny could fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. But a penny with scratches, dents, or wear and tear? Not as much. The better the grade, the closer you'll get to that $1 million price tag. Now, let's talk about how you can cash in on your own 1968 no mint mark penny if you happen to have one, or two, or three. First, you'll want to get your penny professionally graded. The grade is a huge factor in determining the coin's value. There are a couple of major grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) and the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) that can help you out. They'll give your coin a grade from 1 to 70, and that will determine its value. Coins in mint condition are the ones that fetch the big bucks. Let me throw in a little nugget of wisdom from my own experience. A few years ago, I was rummaging through my collection of loose change, kind of like one of those, let's see what I've got moments, and I came across a penny that looked like it could be from the 60s. At first glance, it seemed like just another old coin. But after doing some research, I realized that it was a 1968 no mint mark penny. Long story short, I almost passed it over until I realized what I had. That coin turned out to be worth several $100 in its condition, and I learned a valuable lesson about really paying attention to the details. Well, first of all, always double-check your change and your coin collection. A penny that looks like nothing special might just turn out to be a hidden gem worth thousands or even $1 million. The 1968 no mint mark penny is a perfect example of how something as small as a missing mint mark can skyrocket the value of a coin. If you've got one of these pennies or any other rare coins sitting around, now's the time to give them a closer look. Get your coins graded, do your research, and you might just find yourself holding onto a piece of history that's worth more than you ever imagined. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want more tips, tricks, and stories about rare coins and how to build your coin collection. I'll be sharing more secrets on coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of it. If you want to get serious about your coin collecting game, you've got to stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video where we'll dive into more coins that could make you rich. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever stared at your loose change and thought, what if this little penny is worth more than I could imagine? Well, today you might just want to dig through that jar of pennies sitting in your drawer, because today we're talking about the 1998 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and this little coin could be sitting on a cool $1.2 million. Yes, you heard me right, million. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into what makes this seemingly regular penny a gold mine. All right, let me set the stage for you. A couple of years ago, I was going through my old coin collection, pulling out pennies, half dollars, and quarters, just reminiscing about my childhood. You know the routine, thinking back to the days when I would casually toss pennies into a jar. I even had a stack of them just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. Nothing, until I stumbled upon one tiny coin that seemed a bit off. Now, at first glance, it was just another 1998 penny, nothing too spectacular. But here's the twist. I noticed that it had no mint mark. I had heard rumors of rare coins being worth ridiculous amounts, but this was just, well, a penny, right? And this was before I really dove into coin collecting in depth. I was skeptical, but curiosity got the best of me, and I started digging into it. Lo and behold, I discovered that this very coin, this exact kind of penny, could potentially be worth up to $1.2 million. That's right, million. How can a penny, one that's been hanging around since 1998, be worth so much? Well, let me explain. First off, you need to understand that it's not just about the year, it's about something much more specific. The absence of the mint mark. The 1998 penny is one of the few years when pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint without the P mint mark. For most coins, the mint mark indicates where they were made. But for some reason, this particular run of pennies, about 4.5 million of them, were struck without any mint mark at all. The result? A rare error that collectors go crazy for. Here's where it gets interesting. Back when these pennies were first released, no one thought twice about them. But over time, coin collectors began to notice the absence of the mint mark, and that tiny detail became a major deal. Imagine walking around with a penny that you probably tossed in the fountain, and later finding out it could pay off your mortgage. That's the magic of coin collecting. Now, let's talk about value. You might be wondering, what's the deal with $1.2 million? Well, most of these 1998 no-mint mark pennies don't even come close to that value. The most famous examples, which are in near-perfect condition, are the ones that can fetch upwards of $1.2 million. It's all about rarity and condition. If you have one of these pennies that's been preserved in mint condition, with no signs of wear or damage, you might just have a gold mine in your hands. However, even if your penny isn't in perfect condition, it could still be worth a pretty penny, pun intended, depending on its grade. Coins in good condition can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here's a fun little tip. Most people who find these pennies often have them tucked away in jars, shoeboxes, or old coin rolls. Coin rolls from the late 1990s are a great place to start if you want to track one of these down. Just be sure to check the mint mark and look for that little giveaway, the absence of the P dot. But hey, don't get discouraged if you don't find one. Rare coins aren't the easiest things to stumble upon. I certainly didn't find one every time I dug through my stash. Sometimes, I felt like a kid searching for the golden ticket in a chocolate bar. But the key here is persistence. Every time I checked my coins, it was like finding buried treasure. Speaking of which, that's a great segue into talking about coin grading. If you think you've found one of these bad boys, your next step is to get it graded. There are professional grading services like PCGS or NGC that will evaluate the condition of your coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. A penny with a high grade, especially one with no mint mark, could be your ticket to a pretty comfortable retirement. But be prepared. Grading costs money too, and it's a process that can take a while. And of course, remember that while we're talking about one incredibly rare penny, not every coin you find will be worth a fortune. But hey, that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about enjoying the hunt and learning along the way. Trust me, if you ask any serious coin collector, they'll tell you that it's the thrill of the chase that makes it all worth it. The 1998 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who would have thought that such a simple coin could hold so much value? Now, before you rush off to check your penny jar, remember that it's about the hunt, the knowledge, and the little discoveries you make along the way. And hey, if you do happen to find one of these rare pennies, don't forget to thank me, for all the good advice. If you want to stay ahead of the game and get more tips on coin collecting, smash that subscribe button and join the crew. I've got a ton more videos about rare coins that are worth way more than you'd think. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next coin discovery. Plus, who doesn't want to turn a humble penny into a fortune, right? So, before you go off to check your coins, remember this. Coin collecting isn't just about finding wealth. It's about enjoying the journey. And who knows, you might just find that $1.2 million penny along the way.